Us, dear ladies and gentlemen, we had two very interesting reports. One, a philosophical one, another, a very specific one. So please, let's have some questions. And please bombard our speakers with your questions.
Hello, English is okay? My name is Alex. Hello, greetings from the interpreter team. We are doing our best for you and for this camp. It's a beautiful place. I have a small comment on the startup presentation on how to start your language, your translation agency. And you mentioned Gmail, like you better have your proper domain name attached at your email, not Gmail. And that's not the only reason with Gmail, by the way, because I don't know how about you, but me first and some of my colleagues ran into problems having Gmail email account because then I thought why it happened. First I thought I did something wrong when my letter disappeared, and a very important letter which was like tagged as an important letter, and it just disappears. Poof, it's gone, not in the trash can or anywhere. Probably I did something wrong, I butt pressed it or something and got deleted. Then it happened another time when my ticket disappeared right 15 minutes before the train, and I had to work around some adventure to get on that train. And then I thought, why it happened? They probably are too big. They don't manage. And then I remember that it's a company who scrapped Google Wave. If you don't know what it is, Google it up. So Google Wave was a software that Google killed. They first developed it, and it was an incredibly great thing. And then they invested all that money into it.
We are here for the questions, not for the statements, because we only have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So be aware of the email and secure it properly, because your documents disappearing, you don't want that. Thank you.
Okay, another question. Right here in the first row on the left.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for your reports. My name is Evgenia, and I have a question to our speaker. You have founded your translation company, and you are not a translator yourself. Didn't you have any concerns that probably you won't be able to ensure good quality of translation, not having this linguistic background or translation background, and relying exclusively on your translators and their diplomas or feedbacks? Definitely, I cannot personally check the quality of my translators, but I have editors, and this is actually a question which is very frequently asked. People really ask me, aren't you afraid? Well, what should I be afraid of? There are translators who produce the quality, and I will do my job. I will probably add to this. What is the primary thing the translation agency deals with? Organizing the process of translation. Translation agency does not deal with translation, but with management. And in order to be a manager, you should not necessarily be a translator. Though I am a translator, I know probably the processes from inside. It helps, but it is not a requirement. And we have one more question. Thank you. Thank you for your very interesting reports. Volodymyr, the question is to you. We have heard what should be done, what steps should be taken in order to grow your business, to grow your company. And sometimes the issue of what should not be done may also be important. So what you should avoid at the first stages of company development, because like don'ts may be even more useful than do's. The list of don'ts is really extensive.
Наверное, скажем так, если то, что Татьяна рассказывала, я рассказывал,
And Tetiana and me, I have told you what to do. And actually, if you were listening attentively, you should do it opposite. So, for example, if you postpone working on processes, then with time you will fall down under the weight of your own company. I would not say that you disappear, but you'll definitely suffer from the weight of your own company. I can give you lots of pieces of advice. There is an article at our website, Protimus, and one of such articles is, for example, entitled "Why the client will delete your email." Just because it's Gmail, just because you didn't probably learn how to find your potential clients, for example, because you did not name the client by name, because you did not stand out from all the rest, because the potential client doesn't know you, so your letter will be just deleted. Regarding sales, direct sales definitely work. But if you want to have big clients, personal connections, personal issues is something that works. If a person trusts you, it will really bring you some more orders.
I can add to what Volodymyr said. Service would be in the first place, I would say. I worked in one translator company, then I left it, I quit it. I quit the business for a while, and when I opened a new agency and then started to connect to my former customers saying, hello, I'm my own agency now, people switched over to me because of myself, because they knew that I provide a proper level of service. Didn't matter who am I, like that I start from scratch. They knew me as someone who provides a high quality service. I agree with that. And never leave it for granted that it's going to work. It's going to work for some, or you work. I work as they pay me. So if you work the way you get paid, you understand that it's never enough. Of course, it's never enough, and you underappreciate, and then you mean in what you do that you're underpaid, so you're underdue. So you have to do a great job. Even if you are paid first, not so much, but you do a great job, you can refer to a great job later on and require higher pay. But if you had problems with quality and you get less and less job offered, and they say, why don't you give me translation jobs? There were quality problems. Increase the quality. So either find customers in a higher price range, but first work on your quality. Thanks a lot to both presenters. My question is to Tetiana. Thank you for sharing these well-known pains to all of us. How to work with staff translators? And the question about the Ukrainian legislation that doesn't provide any official work arrangements with remote interpreters or translators, other than private entity with private entity as counterparts. Because often there's a question
let's have some labor relations, but instead of private entity with private entity as counterparts? Well, that's a question to think about. We promote doing business legally. And private entity with private entity as a counterpart, it's okay. But if the translator doesn't want this form, well, then they are responsible for paying their side of the taxes. Yeah, we can give you a sum of money to your card account, but then it's your duty to pay the tax and report. How you do that, that's up to you. We do our side. We report our side and we pay our side of taxes. You then have to do it somehow. In which form, we don't know. So working remotely is not a hindrance to staff worker. You can write that person in the books as your staff member, but usually staff means people are with you in the office. You have mutual obligations. You have to provide a job, eight hours worth of work to do, and they have to deliver. But if they don't want to work tomorrow, or this project is not okay, but the previous project is okay, then it's just project by project with another private entity, a private person, entrepreneur. Okay, then I might have some other question to you, since I have the mic. You tell us that another situation sometimes happen, that a customer suddenly sends me more job than I can possibly deal with. So you recommended that either lay it off and take only part of that job, or find additional translators to do part of the job. So you recommended to have a pool of translators, and you still you have that pool of interpreters not fully staffed, but you can engage them from time to time. So what do you do with them while they're idle? Well, the main bottleneck here is not in translators, but those who do the quality assurance for their work. It's editors, because translators can be found to provide rough translation. That's a quick job of looking for candidates. What they send you in, though, you have to proofread. And my approach has always been to have extra editors handy and have them available. How to do that, that is a separate presentation. We have a system that allows to train interpreters, analyzing their mistakes and improving their skills. It's a commercially available system, you can check it. And the translators that get the highest rating in that system, they become the potential editors, in case if we need to quickly scale up. So in that case, you can find translators relatively quickly, but those translators who were yesterday translators, most of them can be retrained or upgraded to quality assurance. And in my case, this approach is still working. Your main reserve must be in what you need most. The redundancy is in the quality. And the freshmen and translators, if it's not a one-off job with them, with time, gradually, they will also train and learn and prepare for the next upgrade. Good afternoon. My question is partially has been asked by the previous member of the audience, is how to legally register your translation agency. Should it be like a physical entity or a legal entity as a proper company? That's to me, a question to me, right? Back in 2010, There were few companies who wanted to work with physical entity. They said, we only work with international companies, so limited liability company, LLC at least. Now it's much easier. It's literally going to be sufficient to have a physical entity entrepreneur, third group. You can work with legal entities. Everybody working with with those, Pfizer, Carlsberg, they all work with this kind of companies. You don't need a limited liability company for that. Hey, Volodymyr, you can add something? If it's a big company, usually they have everything. The limited liability status and the physical entity. So it's up to a total volume, total turnover in sales volume or revenues. That's what limits your category. If you don't have customers, no, we cannot work with you, then just work as a physical entity entrepreneur registered. If they come your way, those companies, you can always upgrade your legal entity status to an LLC and work accordingly. But then the revenue calculation is different. The tax calculations are much more stringent for LLCs. So it's just the limit of your total volumes, sales volumes per year. So I have a question to Volodymyr. Do you have any advice to managers? Where do you get your skills upgraded as a manager? So I can speak for myself. The most important skill for any manager is what we call soft skills, communications, being able to put proper words in proper situations, being sometimes an arbiter in micro conflicts that inevitably come up. It's all about socializations, relations with people. A manager in a proper sense of this word, because manager in the basic sense, it's managing anything, but we are talking in the sense someone managing people and teams. The best skill is communication, how you say your words and when. Put proper words in proper situations, build your social relations in such a way, in everyday communication also, that you cover and can engage the interests of all sides. You know, there's this, there's a category, there is such a notion as stakeholder manager. Stakeholders are like the owner, the state, customers, and you have to perform a balancing act of all that. So where to learn? Whenever I felt I lacked some knowledge, I went to online courses, Udemy, Coursera. They have great training courses, management training courses also from Western leading universities. It's very convenient. It's one click away. There's business development as a topic described in great detail in some training courses. There's general management training courses available online. There's a plethora of information available at your fingertips. It's your job to find what's relevant to you and learn. So let's then thank both speakers for this panel.